Hello and welcome to London St. Pancras International. Today we're taking a look at Eurostar's premier service on board their classic Class 373 high-speed trains. Eurostar's Class 373s have been racing between London, Paris, and Brussels since 1994. They were once the kings of the Channel Tunnel, and today, almost 30 years later, they're still carrying passengers at 300 kilometers an hour. But what's it like to ride on one of these legends in Eurostar's top class of service? Is Premier really worth that sky-high price tag, or should you save your money and stick with Plus? Let's climb aboard and find out. Our journey begins at London St. Pancras International. Built in 1868, St. Pancras began life as the London terminus for the Midland Railway. Over the many decades, operators came and went, with the station now serving trains from East Midlands, Thameslink, Southeastern, and Eurostar. The main train shed here at St. Pancras International is an impressive one. When it first opened in 1868, the 210 meter by 73.2 meter train shed was the largest enclosed space in the world. That's 689 feet by 240 feet for my American viewers. While a few trains are visible through the glass at track level, Eurostar services can only be accessed through the lower level of the concourse after passing through security and immigration. Heading downstairs, we reach the main concourse. There are tons of shops, restaurants, and other stores all over the station, and I highly recommend wandering around and checking out a few before heading to your train. Passengers traveling on Eurostar must head to the International Departures area for check-in, security, and immigration clearance. The departure area has dedicated lines for each train and a dedicated area to pick up reservations or buy a last-minute ticket. While there is quite a line at the International Departures area, we've got a fast pass. Eurostar Premier passengers have a dedicated check-in and security line, which makes the whole process much faster. Beyond security is the main seating area, which is packed. Don't worry if the departure lounge is like this when you arrive. The frequency of departures and the sheer size of the trains means seats open up quite quickly. Of course, once you're past immigration, you're stuck here. This means no access to outside food and drink options. There's a pret-a-manger, a duty-free store, and a small cafe at the end of the waiting area, but that's it for shops. I recommend spending a few minutes before departure to head to the domestic departures area to grab something to eat. Now, we're traveling in Eurostar Premier, and with that comes access to the Eurostar Lounge here in London. The lounge is fairly crowded when we arrive, with most seats occupied or claimed by a bag or coat. What most passengers don't realize is there's actually two levels to this lounge, and heading upstairs we find plenty of open seats. The Eurostar Lounge is a quiet place to relax and grab a drink and a light snack ahead of departure. In addition to comfortable seating and magazines, passengers are offered a selection of hot and cold non-alcoholic beverages, beer, and wine. Light snacks include a small selection of savory and sweet options, but they're unlimited, so feel free to take as many as you like. Of course, the actual selection is rather limited, with nothing too filling. That's not too big of an issue though, as we'll be served lunch on board. The real party piece of the lounge opens at 3 p.m., the cocktail bar. Found on the upper level, the bar serves a selection of hand-mixed cocktails and mocktails, all complimentary to lounge passengers. While lounging around is fun and all, we've got a train to catch. Heading back downstairs, we follow the signs for the 1421 to Paris and ascend to the platforms. And here's our train, one of Eurostar's Class 373 high-speed trains. We're traveling today in Car 12, Seat 45. Eurostar's Plus and Premier cars are operated in a first-class 2x1. The static layout means determining forward and rearward-facing seats is difficult to impossible, with ours today facing backwards for our ride to Paris. Either or, the seat looks comfortable with decent padding and plenty of legroom. We'll get into the full seat review as we head under the English Channel. As we get settled in, a British Rail Class 395 pulls out of the Southeastern high-speed platforms. The Class 395 Javelin is the pride of the Southeastern high-speed fleet, the nickname Javelin bestowed upon the trains ahead of the 2012 Olympics. With all passengers on board, our Eurostar comes to life, pulling away from London to begin our 2-hour and 20-minute ride to Paris.
I would like to let you know that our colleague Eva and Ohlig are now looking for work away from you.
Our route to Paris takes us around the north side of London, climbing up to 300 kilometers an hour on High Speed 1. We'll fly past Ebbsfleet International and Stratford International before slowing for our entry into the Channel Tunnel. Our train is plunged into darkness as we head under the English Channel, the 99-mile-per-hour speed limit giving us around 20 minutes underwater. Once in France, we accelerate back to 300 kilometers an hour on the LGV Nord, the line turning south through Lille to fly toward Paris. It's non-stop high-speed running through the French countryside, our train finally slowing for its arrival at Paris Gare du Nord. We'll cover a total of 307 miles on our ride today, with a travel time of 2 hours and 18 minutes. Only a few minutes after departure, we fly through the first of 3 intermediate stations on High Speed 1, Stratford International. Despite its international name, Stratford International doesn't actually see any international trains. The station was built to serve as the London station for through trains of the Eurostar regional service. However, the service was scrapped and thus international services never called at Stratford. We blitz through the London suburbs, our E300 train reaching 300 kilometers an hour with ease. Ebbsfleet International flashes by outside the window, marking our meeting of the original operating segment of High Speed 1. While Eurostar began operating to St. Pancras in 2007, the international services originally terminated at London Waterloo. The Class 373 split off from High Speed 1 just prior to where Ebbsfleet International is now, following suburban lines using third rail power into London Waterloo. Remnants of Eurostar's time at Waterloo still remain on the east side of the station, where the Waterloo International Arch stands above tracks 20 to 24. Our Eurostar Premier service begins with a welcome drink, which comes from a selection of non-alcoholic beverages, beer, and wine. We begin scrubbing speed south of Ashford, the deceleration coming just before our entry into the Channel Tunnel. Tall fences line the tracks here, a part of border security, the Eurotunnel terminal visible for only a brief second behind us before we dip into the Chunnel. The ride through the 31.5-mile Channel Tunnel takes around 20 minutes. With nothing to see outside for the next 20 minutes, let's turn our attention inward to our seat in our Class 373 train. Eurostar's Plus and Premium cars are operated in a 2x1, with a mix of forward, rearward, and table seating. Our solo seat offers a decent 6 inches of legroom, with space beneath the next row to stretch out. A leather seatback pocket flexes out from the seatback, above which is the tray table with another pocket found behind it. A vanity mirror is hidden behind a small cover, allowing passengers to do their makeup or bask in their own glory while on board. Beside the seat is a small cup holder, a USB connection, and a European outlet. A small bit of storage is found between the seat and the wall, the button down here controlling the over-the-shoulder reading light. Window shades extend down from the walls, above which are conveniently located seat numbers and luggage racks running down both sides of the train. Each seat reclines around 10 degrees, the bottom sliding forward when the lever is pulled. The interior of the Class 373 saw a refurbishment in 2015, coinciding with the launch of the newer Class 374s. This refresh saw an almost entire rebuild of the interiors, fitting new seats and lighting among other improvements. These newer interiors are nice, but a little sterile. The gray seats and white walls lack character, the only color coming from the lime green handles along the aisle. For a ticket listed as Premier, one would hope the cars would feel a little more luxurious. Our attention is turned away from the interiors as we're handed the lunch menu. Eurostar Premier passengers are served a full 3-course meal. Our meal starts with an amuse-bouche, followed by a choice of main, a cheese plate, and dessert. The serving of lunch is a little strange, with the amuse-bouche, cheese, and dessert being served all at once. For an amuse-bouche, we have a dish of marinated fennel, tomato puree, and ricotta cheese with a bread roll. The cheese plate is a coastal cheddar with a raspberry chutney, and the dessert is a honey, pollen, and fromage blanc cake. Our main course comes from a choice of 3, 1 hot and 2 cold. I went with the hot option, which today is a grilled chicken with fennel and spring onion mash and romanesco gratin. While it's not the most visually appealing, it's pretty tasty, though the serving size is smaller than most would like. The dessert is light and sweet, pairing well with a glass of rosé. As we enjoy our meal, we emerge back into the daylight, our Eurostar now firmly on continental European soil. It takes only a few minutes for our Class 373 to get back up to speed, the French countryside turning to a blur as we reach 300 kilometers an hour. Bathrooms on Eurostar's Class 373s are found at the ends of each coach, with an accessible facility found in cars 9 and 10. The regular facility is pretty standard for a high-speed train. It's not super cramped, but not large by any means. The standard sink with integrated soap and hand dryer works well, the toilet set off to the side. While our service to Paris is scheduled non-stop, we slow on approach to Lille Europe, eventually pulling to a stop in the tunnels beneath the station. We're making a quick unscheduled service stop, the reason for which is unknown. After a few minutes in the darkness, we're back on the move, picking up speed once again on the LGV Nord. Eurostar's Class 373s consist of 2 9-car halves, capped off by a Powercar at each end. The center 6 of the 18 are reserved for Plus and Premier passengers, while the outer 10 are for Standard. Between the two layouts are the Café cars, located in cars 6 and 13. The Café cars on Class 373s include a small bar at one end to buy snacks, drinks, and meal options with standing tables in the open space. The cafe menu includes fresh meals, savory and sweet snacks, and alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages, the prices of which are fairly decent. Beyond the cafe car is Standard Class. Operated in a 2x2, Eurostar Standard offers cheaper fares at the cost of comfort with less legroom and narrower seats. No food is provided in the cost of the ticket, though with all you save by traveling in Standard, you'll have more than enough to spend on snacks and drinks in the cafe. If you continue on through Standard Class, you'll reach the end of the train. Peeking through the window, we catch a glimpse inside our lead Class 373 Powercar. Gone are the sleek, passenger-oriented amenities, replaced by functional metal paneling, switches, and textured non-slip metal floors. Back at our seat, the landscape continues to whip past the window. Our Eurostar is making quick work of the LGV Nord, the miles ticking by in the blink of an eye. Eurostar Premier is the highest class of service on Eurostar trains, but with it comes the highest price. For our journey today, I paid a frankly staggering $433. Sure, Premier got us access to the lounge in London, priority check-in, and a nice lunch on board, but the super high price tag makes it a hard pill to swallow. The greatest feature of Premier tickets is entirely intangible: complete flexibility. Premier tickets are eligible for exchange or refund with no fee up to 48 hours after departure, which is perfect for business passengers with ever-evolving schedules. For around $250 less, you can travel in Eurostar Plus, which, while it doesn't have lounge access or a priority security line, gets access to the same larger seats as Premier and is served a lighter meal on board with the same suite of drinks. Now, Plus tickets fluctuate in price significantly more than Premier, with tickets ranging from $130 to almost $400, depending on how far you book in advance. So with all the options, is Premier really worth it? Well, it, as many things in this world, depends on your preference. If you value the incredible flexibility, lounge access, and slightly elevated onboard experience, then Premier is a worthwhile purchase. If you want most of the benefits of Premier without paying the high ticket cost, then choose Plus. You'll still have a great onboard experience and save quite a bit of cash if you book far enough in advance. Personally, I don't think I would choose Premier again. Paying $433 for the ticket while knowing I can get 75% of the benefits at more than half the cost with Plus makes Premier a hard bargain. Of course, I didn't know this at the time, so we'll be back in Premier when we head from Amsterdam to London on board one of Eurostar's newer Class 374s. The high speeds of the LGV Nord end as we reach the northern suburbs of Paris. The city engulfs the railway, our train following the suburban lines into Paris Gare du Nord at the end of the line. The Class 373 has been the workhorse of Eurostar since its inception, and even though they're over 20 years old, they're still excellent. That classic high-speed front end paired with the modern livery looks incredible, their interior refresh doing wonders to improve passenger comfort. Heading down the platform, we enter Paris Gare du Nord, where we'll bring today's video to a close. Next week, we're heading to the Northeast for a ride on Amtrak's next generation Acela. We'll be climbing aboard the inaugural train out of Boston, heading down the Northeast corridor to Washington, D.C. in first class as we experience America's next generation of high-speed trains. This is a journey you won't want to miss, so hit subscribe now to be alerted when that video goes live. Anyways, if you're new around here, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. It's totally free and it really helps support the channel. I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to my loyal patrons and members. Y'all are amazing and your incredible generosity is greatly appreciated. If you too want your name in the video or just want to support the channel in more ways than one, then head on over to the links in the description below. But anyways, that's all I have for today. Thanks for riding with me, and I'll see you in the next one.